Clients and friends, welcome to another wonderful story of one of our clients living a great life. This is something that our team has really come to enjoy, is just sharing how clients that are very special and dear to us, how they are living what they consider a great life for them, a beautiful life for them. And I'm so pleased that joining me today is my colleague, Jake Martin. Jake works with Mark and Brenda, and he's going to introduce them a little bit, and we'll get started in a wonderful conversation with them. So Jake, why don't you take it from here and introduce our special clients today?
Yeah, I've worked with them for the past couple of years now and helped, started working with Mark shortly before he retired from Special Olympics of Missouri. And so you're going to hear all about his career there and some of the ups and downs that happened with Special Olympics Missouri. And then also we've been working with Brenda, so you'll hear a little bit about her career. And then also their recent engagement and wedding. So lots of exciting things going on for both Mark and Brenda. But let them introduce themselves. Brenda, would you first talk about yourself and your career and how you got to where you are today?
I sure will. To start with, I am now Brenda Musso. We recently got married, and with my career, Mark and I actually met because of my previous career where I worked at Special Olympics for 15 years. He came up and did a training and was a great influence on my love for Special Olympics. And it just kind of grew our friendship. And when I moved here to the lake, I ended up accepting a position at a behavioral health hospital that was brand new here at the lake. I've now been doing that for 8 years. I do have one son and no grandkids on that side yet, but I'm lucky enough with Mark and his kids that I have my grandkids that way.
I started out kind of jumping around from place to place as a kid, from foster homes to jumping from my mom to my grandma to no place at all. And early on, I got involved in Special Olympics as a volunteer, a freshman in high school. I didn't realize it at the time that was going to really become my calling. And I worked there for 47 years in Kansas, then in Minnesota, ran the World Games in Minnesota, and then came to Missouri for Special Olympics Missouri in 1991. In Missouri, we decided to build a Training for Life campus, which was the only one of its kind in the world. And so we had to raise an $18 million capital campaign on top of the annual $6 million budget. And that may have had a lot to do with my retirement plans because I ran out of gas in the tank by the end of that. But I vowed to the board that once we got it open, I would stay for 6 months. We opened it, and 6 months later, I ended my Special Olympics career in terms of staff career. And then 52 days later, a E4 tornado destroyed the campus. So needless to say, it was a series of emotions, one of which was feeling bad that I had left and handed off to my successor, that she had to deal with that. But it's all rebuilt now. It's better than it was when it was brand new. Of course, it was only 7.5 months old when the tornado hit, but it was clearly kind of the jewel for our athletes was to be able to have a campus like that and have a training facility that they just don't have anywhere else in the world. You know, there were no lives lost in that tornado in Jefferson City, Missouri. And that's what's most important. All the rest of the stuff is stuff. Although I didn't realize at the time, I think it was a great life lesson that whatever material stuff there is, you can always go back and build it and go back and get it. You can't bring somebody back that you lost. Why Brenda and I connected so much is that we both came from situations where our parents kind of deserted us, frankly. And so we were left on our own to figure out how we were going to make it through. And there's a connection there that you just can't have with somebody else. I think the thing that we both share is that our faith grew so strong during those days that you didn't know who you were going to turn to in the early days. And I think as a result of that, I don't want to speak for you, but the one thing that we talk a lot about is we believe that God has a plan for everybody. And each day the plan may change. And you just got to accept the fact that God has a plan for you and you need to live it in the way that he intended you to live it. You cannot live your life looking in the rearview mirror. I back into parking spaces because I believe when you leave, you want to look forward. You've already been where you backed in. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. I think we both live our lives that every day you want to live with no regrets.
Wow.
If you know you did that and you listen to God's plan, then every day, if it is your last day, you're good.
Well, I think one of the things we both feel strongly about is making sure that we spend the time with our family, whether it be, and friends, but whether it be, our kids and grandkids, but also our extended family. We have friends that are just unbelievable, but the friends that we have are, I would say that they're few, but they're true. We don't want to waste time on people who are negative. We're very want to be around positive people. One of the things that we're just recently talking about with us getting married is if you look at the people that we really spend a lot of time with, it's people who have really positive relationships with their spouses.
That's true.
And they hold each other up and they're, their biggest cheerleaders. And, we very much want to be like that.
I think that you can't possibly know what retirement's going to be like until you're in it. You can talk to everybody. They can give you all kinds of advice, and I think you should listen to that advice. The reality is you have to decide what you're going to do in terms of where you're going to volunteer and where you're going to spend your time. I think you have to decide, first and foremost, I think it's imperative that financially that you're going to be okay, so that you don't have that cloud hanging over you. If that cloud is there, then keep working until you've got the money that you need, that that you're going to be comfortable. And then I think after that, it's important to look at the end game in terms of what's the legacy going to be. Sit down with your kids while everybody's healthy. Don't wait till you have a cancer scare as I had, and talk about here's what our plans are and here's how it's going to be set. We just had this conversation with our kids the day of the wedding, actually, and we just said here's how it's all going to be set up. And I'm sure you all are on the receiving end of having to deal with families that didn't do that and the complexities there are there. Tell your kids what your plans are.